Okay, good morning, and just going to do a little video on the Venus SW6B. I've had it for about 6 months, and I've operated it a lot. Just let me sort my phone out. Let me put that on silent. There we go. So, and prior to the 6B, I had I still got the 3B, which I just keep for portable, obviously, and usually keep it in the van or, you know, in my rucksack, just in case. I get 5 minutes to put the antenna up on the van and just do some CW. So internally, well, since I've got it, mine has only ever put out on a battery or internal power pack about 3 watts. So if I switch it on, okay, move you in there. Hopefully the refresh rate on this camera is actually showing the screen. Can I, without too much shaking around, and I apologise for this because I'm on a little tripod, is that showing a decent screen? Yeah, I think it is. It's locking on that. Okay, so we're on the internal battery, and I'm going to put my meter on, and I'll show you the meter. So the meter is here, and it'll give, I might have to just prop that up a bit. It will show, let's have a look, see if I can pinpoint the, okay, what's it showing at the minute? So it's showing nothing at the minute. I've got a straight key plugged in. This is the Bengali, the blade. So at the minute it is showing, when I key up, obviously I'm into a dummy load. Let me just get it centered. So 3.42 watts. And the voltage on the transceiver is showing me 11.3 volt. So that's the internal battery. So let me just put you back down there. Okay, I've got an external supply which is here, and if I switch that on, we're going to run 13.6 volts, and on my little voltmeter that I use when I'm out portable, everything plugs into this. So the transceiver plugs into that, and then this power supply or that power supply will plug into this and give me an indication of voltage on the battery. So, but that does a reasonable job anyways. But I like to see the battery. That's 3D printed, by the way. So let me have a quick look. So we are on, 13.6. So if I'm just going to switch this off, because I don't like plugging stuff in when it's powered. So it's now showing, let me see if you can see that, 13.3, 13.6 on my meter, 13.6 on the power supply. So let me just put it up to 14 volt on that, 13.6 still on that. And at 13.8 volts, let me show you this. Let me just get that right. 4.52 watt output. So most of the time when you're running 12 volt, let me switch off that power supply and you'll see that meter is now dropped. So let me unplug this mains power supply. I'm getting a bit wiry. Let's have a look. So that one's unplugged. This one needs to go in and switch that on. So this one is my, let's see if I can get you right. So this is my main power pack. It's 12 volt out. Seemingly it's 12 volt out. And that's the one I use mainly when I'm out portable. On the meter it's 12.2. On the SW6, let me do this again. It's a bit awkward this, to be honest, but we're doing it. Okay, we're doing it. Is showing 11.9. So 12 volt, I mean 12 volt really, but 12.2 on mine. Now then, my power meter, let me show you that. Can I get that in as well? It is a bit awkward this, to get everything in picture. Right, so 3.58 watt. At 12 volt, which is what I normally run on that power supply when I'm out portable. So 3.5 watts. Right, so that's that. Now then, let's look at, let me see. So on the tune, so that's in the op position, the operational position. You've also got a tune. Now, I don't understand why there is a tune. It would have been better if it would have been QRP P, because the wattage out of that tune, and it says in the manual that you can run it, and I have done. So that's on the tune setting. So that's 0.8. So that's QRPP. So 0.8, and I've actually made contacts on QRPP. So there we go. So a little rundown. So obviously you've got power. I've got a little pointer. Should have a little pointer somewhere. Let me have a look. I probably haven't. I'll tell you what I have got though. On my phone, I've got a little doohickey of a pencil thing. So here you've got on off, you've got speed control for your paddle, you've got RF gain, and you've got audio gain. Obviously it's on a dummy load. You've got speaker or down to headphones. You've got your bands. So number 1 is 80 meters. Number 2 is 40. Number 3 is 30. Number 4 is 20. And number 5 is 15 meters. So there are your 6 bands. And there on this, you've got the operations and tune. Now, what it does say in the manual, if you put it to the tune position, and if you're tuning an antenna, the LED, if it's, you know, the SWR is a little bit high, the LED will illuminate, and as you tune to, you know, down to optimum tuning, this will do. So when that light goes out, you are fully tuned. Personally, I don't mind you. I see all my antennas, I mean, I use dipoles, clip dipoles, and they're cut for you know, specific bands, and my vertical, my end feds are specifically you know, 40 meter end fed for specific bands. My mobile antenna is a Diamond SW or what is it, I can't think now, or SD330, the screwdriver type, and that has a mechanical, you know, your button, you can move the coil up and down. It may be useful for that, you know, if you're going to tune on 20 meters and you know, you're pressing the button and watching the LED go down. But I mean, I'd never use that, because I use one of these. You know, that covers HF to 2 meters, and that's perfect. So it takes all the guesswork out. But you know, that tune position is a QRP power, 0.8 of eighth of a watt. So you got a memory function. We got 2, but they're joined. So you can have a small call on this one and a small call on that one. But it goes on the length. So on this one, I am on the dummy load. So I just have a quick ×2 CQ call. Now I apologise for the refresh rate. It's these GoPros. I don't know why they're so obstinate when it comes to screens and stuff. I know they're an action cam, but you know, they should have the settings for this. Should have a bit of a zoom as well. And then you've got the minute it's in memory 4 CW. You've got an RIT, which can be adjusted with the encoder. So if you've got someone who's slightly not on frequency, you can just pull them in, and that's back to memory. You've got a VFO, which I tend to use anyways most of the time. I don't really bother with memories. I just stick it on the VFO, and then you know, it switches between VFO and memory. And then you've got the RIT, as I said. There's nothing else really. Antenna socket, speaker, headphone socket. There we go. Headphone socket. You've got a charge socket to charge the battery, and you've got a DC input, which is, I think, 10 to 14 volt input. And obviously, if you can get, you know, 13, 14 volt when you're out, I very much doubt it, but if you do, you'll get the near enough full 5 watts. The vast majority of the time you're on 12 volt, or well, even using the internal. If I knock that off, so you're on the internal battery there, you're only going to get about 3 point something watts output, which is adequate, by the way. You know, the difference between 3 and 5 watts is, yeah, I mean, it can make a small difference, but I always find, and I do find this, if you can hear me on 3 watts, then you can work me. That's an obvious statement, but, you know, the difference between 3 and 5 watts, you know, is, yeah, it's from a you know, a portable standpoint, it's negligible. So and I tend to run my power supply, which is 12 volt, so I get about 3.3 watts out. The encoder, now then, we can move some of this out the road. Can I get any closer without it, the frame rate? So let's see if I can lock it. Okay, right, I think that should be steady. So you've got the encoder, and you press, so you can move it, you know, you can adjust in the hundredths, tens, hertz, and then you can go to the 10th, and you can go to the 100th. So it's just a quick press to change. I mean, you never have to do, you don't have to tune too much on these things, to be honest. I usually stick it around 7025 to 7035, that sort of area when I'm out. And it works very well. I've had, and I can't stress this enough, I have had 0 issues with this SW6B. I find it, I mean, it's virtually a spy set, but I find it incredible. Just let me check out the straight key. Can I plug in? Yes, I can. I can plug in a paddle key, and my paddle key is the, let me just pull out there, is the Bengali, whoops, is the Bengali Traveller. Let me see if we can get that for you. Not a bad key, but it's a very good key. Solid and sturdy, as you would expect. And now we're going to have this frame thing again, aren't we? Let me see if I can lock. sometimes when I watch these videos back and I look at the screen and I just think, oh, again, it's just that frame rate of the camera, and it's just, I can see it scrolling down. I can assure you the screen on the SW6 is rock solid, and it's great in daylight as well. That's one of the things. So paddle, yeah. As you would expect, the QSK, the QSK, let me whop everything up. And if you listen, I won't put the speed up too much. Can you hear that in between? QSK is brilliant. It's still there. So that's another reason why I love this SW6B. The QSK is very good. Same with, I suppose, same with the SW6B. But it's one thing that is outstanding on it. Because, you know, when I'm calling CQ, I want to know what's, especially if I'm only running 3 watts. I want to know if I'm getting battered by you know, adjacent signals or noise or something. So and that's another thing as well, filtering. It's 400 hertz, which has been adequate for all the times that I've ever been out. It's sometimes not enough from a QRP point of view. You know, you're putting your 3 watts call out on 7030 and someone's running you know, 1, 2, 3, 400 watts on 7028. It can be a bit annoying. Perhaps they should have put another button in here or somewhere else that switched between, say, a 250 hertz filter, which is what I like to use, or a 200 hertz filter, and either 400 or 500 as wide. I would have, that's my only, it's not even an issue really, but that's my only gripe, is it could do with a narrower filter. 400 hertz is 400 hertz is adequate for 99% of the time. It's just annoying sometimes when you're in, especially if it's okay if you're calling, that's fine. You know, we'll move. I've got no qualms about moving. I'll just go up a couple, get out the road. But where it does gripe a little bit is when you're in mid QSO and all of a sudden you're just battered. I don't have to explain what that's like. Any CW operator will tell you. Any QRP CW operator will tell you. The amount of people that tune their antennas on top of you is phenomenal. The amount of people that do a beacon test on top of you, you know, no response required, just testing the antenna on the beacon, see if I get a response. And you know, it's just like, really?
Crop tops and high heels filled the void by hurling abuse at passers-by.
Really?
They staggered across the pedestrian crossing from...
That's my audiobooks just switched on for some reason. Why is my audiobook playing? I can assure you it was my audiobook. Let me have a look. Dear me. What was it? It was Stuart McBride, Dying Light. It's one of his new ones. Interesting, but there we go. So there we are. So that's my 6-month rundown of the Venus SW6B. I've had zero problems with this unit. It's been flawless. I always take its little brother with me, the SW6B, as a backup, or I'll take the Zygu X6100 as a backup. It's very rare that I use them. I prefer, hand on heart, to run this all the time. You know, I'm not trying to influence anyone to go out and get one or anything like that. They are reasonably expensive, and this is the thing that most people don't realise these days. There's a import duty. I can't remember what the import duty on this was. Could have been 60 UK pounds, something like that, that had to be paid to the delivery company before delivery, or on demand at the door. So yeah, see, you've got to bear in mind, when you buy this, they do quote postage and packing. I think that's from the factory to the customs. That's that bit. Once it hits the UK, you've got that other bit from wherever it lands to your home address to sort out, plus import duties. Bear that in mind. Personally, I think it's a fantastic transceiver. Love it to bits. I use it all the time. And would I buy it again? In a heartbeat. And it's just wonderful. Now then, let me just, this is famous last words, this, isn't it? Let me just knock that off, take everything out. Okay, and now you can grab it. It's in this tin box. This is this tin box. I don't think this bit's going to go well. So it's in this little tin box, which is great. Now then, it's held in with magnets, by the way. It's not screwed in. So let me just put that down there. You know this isn't going to go well, but I'll do it anyways. Okay, I'll try and level you up a little bit. So it's just a case of, I don't really want to grab anything, but I will do. There we go. So this is the SW6B. Doesn't look much, does it? And obviously that's the battery, the internal battery. And there we go. And it's just held in with these magnets, which, by the way, you know, is sufficient. And that's it. It might be a bit of a pain to get in because it's a metal case with magnets. So it's, you know, but there we go. So it's you know, it doesn't fall out, it's quite good in that respect. And as I say, I think it's perfect, and I really do. Just pick your preference power supply. If you can get something that's 14 volt, then you'll get just under 5 watts. If, like the rest of us, you are on battery or 12 volt battery when I go out, then expect about between 3 and 4 watt, usually about 3.2, 3, 4 or 5, so 3.5 watt. And there we are, the Venus SW6B, fantastic in my opinion piece of kit. Now then, I seen a video initially before I bought this, and I can't remember it. I'm sure it was in a metal case, but all this clasp and everything didn't. It wasn't a good fit, but it is now. So they've modified it, and you can hear it. It'll there we go. So it locks. Well, it doesn't lock, but it doesn't come loose. And that's it. SW6B. You know, what a little spice set. And for portable operation, it's exceptionally well, because I mean you're taking that and an antenna, batteries built in if you want to go that way. You got 6 bands and a key, and away you go. It can be as simple as that. So I'll say 7 threes. Any questions? I can answer some, but not really technical, because I've had no issues with this, and I've never had to do anything. But bear in mind that the power output is dependent on the power input. So there we are. 7 threes, all the best. I hope this is helpful, and I hope that it's giving you a little insight into this fabulous little transceiver. There isn't much out there on this, and I don't know why, because as I said, I would snap this up in a heartbeat, even though it is quite expensive. I think it's worth every penny. And the CW operation is an absolute dream. So I tell you what it does remind me of. It reminds me of the old Tentex, you know, the Corsairs, and that keying. As soon as I got it on the air, the first thing I thought of, it's a Tentex Corsair. It's that smooth. So I'll say 7 threes, all the best, and we'll catch up soon. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe or share. I have limited numbers. It would be appreciated. 7-3.